Let's welcome Mr. Naeem Aman on stage. I would like to invite our panelist as well, the founder and CEO of B2B Booking Advisor, Mr. Faraz Al-Ghani. Sir, please join us. All right, now I would like to invite the Chief Marketing Officer of Pakistan Software Export Board, Mr. Amir Anzur. Thank you for joining us. Then I would like to invite the Chief Business Officer of PayFast. She's working towards the driving digital payments, RAS payments, and fintech innovation. Ms. Mahavish Saad Khan. Ma'am, please join us. And just a bit round of applause for our guest. Yeah. And with her, I would like to invite the Executive Director at PwC Technology and Cyber Risk Assurance, Syed Abdul Qadir. So please join us. Thank you. And our last panelist for our second panel is the Managing Director of Bukhari Group of Companies, Brigadier Retired Sajjad Hussain. So please join us. With that, Naeem Saab, over to you.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and very warm welcome to the Sustainable Destinations Forum. My name is Naeem Aman, and my previous background is related to technology and travel. So this is why मुझे आज जो ये एक इसका एज मॉडरेटर जो रोल दिया गया है, बिकॉज के प्रीवियसली जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है ट्रैवल स्टार्टअप का, वो फुल ऑफ चैलेंजेस था बैक इन 2022. इनफैक्ट इट वाज मार्केट प्लेस B2B2C, और उसके जो एग्जीक्यूशन के अंदर जो इश्यूज़ और जो चैलेंजेस फेस करने पड़े मुझे और मेरी टीम को, वो आज हम इंशाल्लाह अपने पैनलिस्ट के साथ डिस्कस करेंगे. ऑलरेडी मिस ने इंट्रोडक्शन करवा दिया है, तो मैं चाहूँगा कि थोड़ा सा टाइम जो है वो ईच पैनलिस्ट अपना इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर कंज्यूम करें, ताकि एक्चुअली आप लोगों को ये पता चल जाए कि जो डिस्कशन आज होने जा रही है, जिन चैलेंजेस के ऊपर हम लोग आज बात करेंगे, उसमें जो यहाँ पे की पैनलिस्ट बैठे हुए हैं वो क्या रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक यू सर सजाद साहब, प्लीज़.
Introducing myself already, the name was spelled out. I am Brigadier Sajjad, retired, and I am the Managing Director of Bukhari Group of Companies. And the group has a big portfolio. It has multiple businesses related to the travel sector. And beside that, this August gathering where you are collected today, this Pakistan Travel Mart is also one of its brand. So with this short introduction, I think that should be good enough that we proceed further.
Thank you, sir. Faraz sir.
I am running a distribution company called B2B Bookings. It's more like setting up a distribution network of hotel inventories. Biggest problem in Pakistan is that Pakistan's hotel inventory is not available globally. The founder of that company, we have gone through from the last, I would say, 24 months, we have gone through from different steps, making sure that inventory is available to our hotel partners as well as our travel partners.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Amir sir. Sir.
I'm Amir Anzur. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Pakistan Software Export Board. Our main remit is to expand the technology industry globally. So we go represent in San Francisco, Dubai, Riyadh, etc. We have the same challenges around perception, etc. And we believe that tourism will grow the whole industry when people come and visit.
Sure, inshallah. Miss Mahwish.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम माविश साद खान है. Currently, I'm working as Chief Business Officer at PayFast. It's been around 18 years that I'm associated with B2B market. Currently working towards the digitalization and closely working with the payment industry, especially with State Bank for the RAS payment uplift.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul Qadir bhai.
Khader, and I am the Executive Director of Technology and Cyber Risk Assurance, PwC Pakistan, namely A. Ferguson and Co. Apart from that, I am part of multiple advisory boards and community building platforms. Regionally, I am the Vice President of Global CIO and CISO Forum, which is working across 70 countries. And last year, I've been elected as only Pakistani who represented Global CIO Forum and CISO Forum for the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of you. Now, हम लोग अपने सेशन का आगाज़ करते हैं और as we all know, Pakistan is blessed with tons of natural gifts. We have a lot. We have the high mountains, glaciers, deserts, sea, rivers, and a lot more than that. And we can say that Pakistan has one of the most beautiful landscapes in the world. But unfortunately, जो एक dilemma है, वो हमारा एक आप कह सकते हैं कि उसको lack of awareness in travel tech, जो कि हमारा आज का टॉपिक भी है. So let's directly jump to the today's topic. और इसमें मैं एक ओपन क्वेश्चन अपने पैनलिस्ट से करना चाहूँगा, जो वन बाय वन मैं चाहूँगा कि सारे अपने अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज़ के ऊपर दें. सर, आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं सजाद साहब. What do you say about the current state of travel technology in Pakistan today, sir?
Thank you very much. Current state, who knows better than you, being the first-hand utilizer and you can say one of the pioneers into this field. If we call it in a simple words, I think the current state of technology adoption into the travel industry is kind of a paradox till the moment. Certainly the human beings are always reluctant to the change. Change is a phenomena which is always resisted by every generation, every individual, even all stalwarts in any of the organization. So that's the human nature. But the problem over here is not only the absence of technology. We have the technology, we have the capacity, we have the capability, but the problems are higher than that. So first of all, there is an absence of the trust infrastructure. And because of that, the whole thing spiral up. Your accommodations, your inventories are not verified. They are not standardized. There's a reluctance amongst the people. And the reluctance is because of, and the trust deficit also, which I was telling you, that is about the payment, about the money, the security of money. If I pay, will I get what I paid for? And of course, I think one of the panelists sitting over here, she can deliberate more onto the fintech aspect, that ease of payment as well as the trust in getting the timely refund. That's one kind of a thing which a user or a customer is basically looking forward to. These are the basic essentials, but certainly we have to move forward a lot. There's a big gap and we are at a very initial stage. We really need to work a lot on that.
Agreed, sir. Faraz sir.
Well, I can only say as far as the hotel operators' functions are concerned and how the hotels normally operate to distribute their inventory locally and outbound. But I think so the bigger problem right now in Pakistan is the fundamental question is, are we ready to adopt the technology or not? That's the fundamental question. Now, there are different school of thought in this one. So we normally say, yes, we would like to adopt the technology, but fact of the matter is that we don't know how to adopt it. We don't have the man hours, we don't have the skill set. Our mindset still believe on the offline working scenarios. We don't agree with the online options. So I'm creating a parallel as to how you need to see it. In Pakistan, the e-commerce operates on a COD options, which is cash on delivery, right? We see a lot of platforms in Pakistan in the e-commerce space, but they operate on a COD. However, in comparison with the tourism format, we have a lot of platforms in different product side. For example, the buses are now being operated in our platforms. There are airlines which has the platforms availability. There are hotels which has the platform, which they call normally say it's a website, right? But then the question is, how do you need to integrate all those services and become one OTA? Now, there are a lot of players who did try to make the OTA available, whether in the space of B2B or with the space of B2C. Now, B2C, I agree with Colonel Saab that there's a bigger issue in the B2C is the trust deficit of the payment. But there's also the other side of the picture, which is the supply side. So if you look at the supply side, which is the hoteliers, they need the payment before the check-in. They cannot book, they don't accept any bookings if you don't have the payment available before the check-in. The bigger question is that क्या वो supply hotels ने with the integration with all the platforms available है? The answer is no. We don't have a single platform in Pakistan which are connected from all the integrated set of items. For example, if the hotels needs to sell one room, he needs to connect from the PMS, then it connects to the channel manager, then the channel manager gets connected with the payment gateway, the payment gateway gets connected with the web goes to the end customer. This is the whole ecosystem, the one booking made. And parallelly, in the same format, अगर वो booking cancel हो गई है, तो उसका refund भी इसी तरह होना. It has to go in the same fashion. The problem our side of the picture is that there are fragments of the whole picture. So certain hotel operators believe that we are professional enough to manage our own system, so they do have the technology available. However, there are boutique hotels, or which we call them independent hotel operators. They don't have the systems. So if any OTA wants to develop the entire product, they don't need just one part of the hotel operator's function. They need the entire universe. Our problem in our Pakistan, in our part of the world is, in fact, in our country, that because the regulation is not in place right from the start, so the hotel is not inclined to basically accept your offer. So if I go to any hoteler and in the, let's say, northern area, and I say I need to take your inventory on my system, they're not obliged. However, in other part of the world, in their license, it's very clearly mentioned, if you are a hotel operator, you are bound to provide the inventory to the DMCs. Why? Because the government needs to sell the product outside the country to generate the forex. That's how it works. You see Dubai, you see Turkey, you see Malaysia, you see Thailand, Nepal, Indonesia, any tourism markets. The government regulate the whole environment, right? It doesn't work like this that private sector can come in and say, guys, we need the inventories, and you are supposed to give us the inventory on the rates that you wanted to sell. That's number one. Number two is, since the license is very vague, so there are a lot of hotels in Pakistan who has a very vague kind of a license which says, I'm a hotel operator. The reality of the ground is there's a building which is rented. So they don't, that's not a, there's their own, it's a rental agreement kind of a thing. So if it happens in Makkah, Medina 5 or 10 years back, when a lot of hotels in Makkah, Medina were actually the apartments converted into a hotel apartment services. After 5 years, I think the last 5 years, things had changed. The buildings has no more available. It was given to the developers. Developers created the entire infrastructure, and now they have a huge inventory available. Similarly, in our country, there are a lot of positive signs. I'm not saying everything is negative. The key for us that I'll give you some numbers. There are 22,000 nights available right now in the metro cities. I'm just giving a simple idea, right? Out of the 22,000 nights, only 5,000 to 8,000 nights are online. The rest of it, it's offline. So the question is, whether you are a B2B operator or you are a B2C operator, I'm talking about the technology side, right? How do we need to gel in the entire process into a connectivity? Our challenge in today's environment is to go each operator, convince them that they need to put their inventory on the system so that we can able to sell it. The challenge to the operator is that one, they don't agree with this idea. Why? Because there's an old school of thought in our hotel industry that Pakistan is a MICE business. It is not an FIT business. Let me explain to the audience the difference between MICE and FIT. MICE is a group business and FIT is an individual business. 60% of the hoteliers still believe that Pakistan is a group business, right? We can't sell 200 rooms every night. Therefore, we need at least 50 to 70% of our business comes in the form of group, and we don't want to rely on the frequent individual travelers. Why? Because the risk side is very high. This is an old school of thought. I'll give you a great example. Turkey, Istanbul, has 70% of the inventory is individual hotels, not the chains. And their inventory is from 40 rooms to 120 rooms. Their equation of the business is 80% FIT, 20% group business. They don't want to go into this format. Reason being, because in a group business, you give everything to the credit, which means your cash flow is always be a challenge for the hoteliers because their cycle is 90 days to 120 days. Whereby when you sell to online, you get everything in the form of cash. So I sell 40 nights, I get the 40 nights cash then and there. Whereby in the MICE business, you give a discounted pricings, but then you're also giving a credit lines of 90 days to 120 days. In a country like Pakistan, where the commodity prices keep changing almost every day, almost every hour, I guess, the inflation is also going up. There's a borrowing cost to the hoteliers as well. We don't understand, being the tech company, being the distribution company, how the hoteliers will survive in the long run. So eventually, you're basically going into the markets and getting signed up with the franchising agreements, paying the royalty to them, but you're not agreeing with the one philosophy that your business model relying on the credit lines. Your business model is not relying on the cash side. We, for the last 24 months, is trying to explain mid-tier to the high tier. I'm very happy to say that the high tier, the big boys of the hotel chains has accepted the fact and they have agreed to give us the live inventory. And eventually in the long run, we are very optimistic that in the next 24 months, if anything goes well, there will be a lot of penetration of the online business as far as B2B space is concerned. The second dilemma in Pakistan, because of the licensing, I'm taking a time, sorry,
No issues.
that we are relying totally on international OTAs. For example, Booking.com, Expedia, Agoda, blah, 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 and paying 20% commission to them in the form of dollars, not in the form of PKR. And over and above, we are also paying a credit checks to them. So actually, I'm paying to Booking.com 20% of their commission by payment through a credit card, incurring an additional 11% cost. So from the hotel perspective, they are paying 31% on every transaction they make. Unfortunately, since there is a non-availability of the local OTAs, hoteliers are relying on the international because of the quick sale. So if they have a huge occupancy issue, they can just get the promotion on Booking or Expedia, and they can immediately get the bookings. I totally agree with the fact. But then on the other side is, you're also increasing your commission exposure, which is in millions probably, in my. Unfortunate part is the licensing authorities in Pakistan are not focusing why these companies are not incorporated in Pakistan, why are they not paying GST here, why they are not paying withholding taxes, why hoteliers cannot pay in local currencies here. Since it's not there, therefore the technology, the young boys who are sitting here, who become, let's say, tomorrow's developers, they rely to go towards the fintech side and develop the product. Why? Because fintech is much organized, much streamlined. Why would I put my career in a travel technology where everything is fragmented? There's no structure in place. The authorities, whoever the licensing authorities are, they're not created an integrated solutions so that therefore the technology, the developers or our young boys who are coming from the universities, they wanted to create a product either in the e-commerce side or the fintech side or the healthcare, but they don't want to create a product in the travel tech side because everything is so fragmented. There's no structure in place. Therefore, the private sector comes in and they take an initiative. So we become the private sector has to take a call. Should we or should we not? Can we go and distribute our inventory to the global network? And if they are, there is a risk involved. Maybe the hoteliers will agree, maybe they don't. In our very clear-cut position is that this is the high time, especially looking at the geopolitical condition globally. Pakistan has a great opportunity right now. If one sector of the destinations, and I'm saying one set of destinations, I'm not talking about one specific destinations. If they are shying away from the outbound business, then there's a great opportunity for Pakistan hoteliers that this is the high time to push the technology, right? Integrate all their supply side integrations, especially the northern area, right? And advertise on the online channels to get the business. This is the most, I think so this opportunity will not get it in the long run. This is a stronger view in my personal way. There will be a shift in the next coming session if this global geopolitical condition doesn't come down in a shorter way. So if you ask me personally, there are only three things that everyone has to do. Private sector has to put money into it. That's number one. The government has to put the regulation in place. And the entrepreneurs, I'm talking about travel companies, they need to agree principally that we need to change our perceptions from offline to online. That's my short view of look at it.
Really appreciate your comprehensive and detailed answer. And in fact, you covered a couple of my more questions, upcoming questions actually. So please, Amritsar.
So just like a lot of Pakistan is small entrepreneurial rather than dominated by big business. So one experience I had was booking on Expedia or booking.com. I turned up to the hotel and the hotel was closed for Ramadan. So you have those types of experiences. So when foreigners come, I say we'll have everything might not go according to plan. We have our challenges around brand perception and friction, right? So visas used to be easy, but I think they've been rolled back a little bit. So we need to make it easier to come into the country, have less friction, more airlines create more wealth. And so that is my brief answer to that.
I have a question here again for you. Actually, I would like you to put some light on the part that Faraz Saab basically highlighted about the regulatory body. Like you are associated with a governing body. So my question is, can you do something in this regard? What he highlighted in his detailed answer related to the governing body.
In terms of?
In terms of, I'm asking about the government body, like regulatory body, because there is no regulatory body, so no one is bound to basically, कोई भी शख्स यहाँ पर like जो अभी फराज साहब ने कुछ चीज़ें डिस्कस की हैं कि कोई शख्स कोई बुकिंग करवाता है किसी होटल से, अब वहाँ पे उसको कोई दूसरी बुकिंग मिल जाती है वॉक इन कस्टमर की, वो उसको वहाँ से अपनी वॉक इन कस्टमर को प्रेफर कर देता है, और उसके बाद जो उसकी ऑनलाइन बुकिंग होती है, जो किसी भी हमारी लाइक अगर हम कोई अपने किसी डोमेस्टिक किसी लाइक फराज साहब इज ऑपरेटिंग B2B bookings.com, तो यहाँ से गई हुई बुकिंग को वो डिक्लाइन कर देगा. So in that case, if I think I'm of the view, if there is any regulatory body जहाँ पे उसको ये पता होगा कि अगर मैं रूल्स को बेसिकली ब्रेक कर रहा हूँ तो मुझे इसको पेनलाइज किया जाएगा, तो आप समझते हैं कि पीस सब इसके अंदर कोई रोल प्ले कर सकता है?
देखिए, हमारा स्कोप इज टू एक्सपोर्ट्स फॉर टेक्नोलॉजी इंडस्ट्री, सो वी आर नॉट डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड टू इट, मगर हमारा ये वी सी टूरिज्म एज अ वे टू इंक्रीज टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपोर्ट्स, क्योंकि कोई जब पाकिस्तान आता है they want to do more business, right? So it's more the tourism authority that would be doing more around this, and bringing.
But I guess you can make some recommendations in context of today's discussion. Miss Mavish.
Thank you. I think काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो ऑलरेडी कवर हो गई हैं, बट आई एड माई बिट टू इट. देखिए, टेक्नोलॉजी और आपकी जो टूरिज्म और होटल इंडस्ट्री है उसके अंदर जो एडवांसमेंट्स आनी चाहिए हैं एज ऑफ नाउ, जो हम जिस तरीके से हम बात करते हैं कि इंटरनेशनली किस तरीके से काम चल रहा है होटल इंडस्ट्री के अंदर, आई थिंक वी आर far behind in a sense कि now people understand the importance of marketing. Now people understand the importance of having their own internal portals or having their own website, or may be capable enough of taking online bookings. But अगर हम इसको बड़ा या holistic picture के अंदर देखें तो as a consumer, what value addition am I going to get out of it? For example, we do have platforms, सर बैठे हुए हैं और उन्होंने काफ़ी सारी बात भी की है अभी. We do have platforms available जहाँ पर हम B2B booking करवा लेते हैं, but do we have an ecosystem available? No. Do we have a platform जो कि मुझे AI basis के ऊपर बता सके कि किस होटल की क्या रैंकिंग है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जो भी हमारी बात हो रही थी लास्ट मोमेंट बुकिंग की, जो भी अभी आपने बात की है, क्या ऐसा हो सकता है कि मैं जाऊँ जाके एक स्ट्रीट सेलेक्ट करूँ, एक एरिया सेलेक्ट करूँ और उसके बाद रेटिंग आ जाए बेस्ड ऑन दी होटल परफॉर्मेंस, में बी बेस्ड ऑन माय बजट, और उस बजट के अंदर कौन सा होटल आ रहा है, किस होटल की क्या रेटिंग है, बेस्ड ऑन द रिकमेंडेशंस जो लोग वहाँ पे रुके हैं किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म के तवज्जो से. सो a lot can be done. We do not still have a platform where we can go and tell कि I'm a family of 5 planning to travel by the mid of summer, right? And it give me the option कि economical option है तो by rail अगर आप जाएंगे तो ये 4 हैं जो available options हो सकते हैं, by air जाएंगे तो this is going to be your budget, इस एरिया के अंदर जाएंगे तो these are the preferable hotels that are available for the booking. अच्छा, आप उसमें जाते हैं तो उसके नियर बाय क्या एक्टिविटीज़ है, और ओवरऑल मेरी पूरी एक आइटनरी बना के दे दे. वाई डू वी स्टिल नीड एन एजेंट टू गो टू? इवन इफ आई टॉक अबाउट बिग कंपनीज, बिग ट्रैवल एजेंट्स, हम आज भी उनको कॉल करते हैं, पैकेजेस देखते हैं, बट स्टिल वी प्रेफर गोइंग टू देयर प्लेस कि कहते हैं गेट दी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ओवरऑल अंडरस्टैंडिंग बाय दी एजेंट्स. अभी भी वो जो ट्रस्ट फैक्टर है वो बहुत दूर है. ट्रस्ट फैक्टर दोनों चीज़ों के, पेमेंट तो बहुत दूर की बात आ जाती है, ट्रस्ट फैक्टर अभी हमारे ओवरऑल ट्रैवल के सिस्टम के ऊपर ही नहीं है. आज आई वॉज इन फैक्ट लास्ट मंथ जजिंग अ कोहॉर्ट इन NIC जहाँ पर मल्टीपल स्टार्टअप्स थे, एंड वन ऑफ द स्टार्टअप, उसका स्टार्टअप ये था कि अगर फीमेल बेस्ड ट्रैवलर है तो उन्होंने कहीं अगर एक ग्रुप में ट्रैवलिंग करनी है तो कौन कौन सी जगहें हैं पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो कि सेफ़ हैं फॉर फीमेल ट्रैवलर्स. फर्स्ट, सेफ्टी. Second, the travel arrangements. Third, security. fourth in terms of accommodation, fifth in terms of utilities and the facilities that are available, कि वहाँ पर शाम में 7 बजे के बाद स्ट्रीट लाइट्स होती हैं या नहीं होती हैं, वहाँ पे बुकिंग्स आप कौन कौन सी हैं जो कि फीमेल सेफ होटल्स हैं, तो वी स्टिल डोंट हैव दैट डेटा इन प्लेस। एंड आई थिंक ऑल दीज क्या कहते हैं कंपनीज जो कि इतना बड़े पैमाने के ऊपर काम करें, दे स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग देयर एआई मॉडल्स टू एटलीस्ट फैसिलिटेट दीज काइंड्स ऑफ एडवांसमेंट्स दैट आर वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड नाउ।
Thank you very much. And it was all about the technology innovation, जो कि अब हमारा एक करंट इरा चल रहा है जिसमें हम लोग तकरीबन ज़ुबान ज़द-ए-आम है ये वर्ड जिसको हम एआई कहते हैं, और जितनी भी इंडस्ट्रीज़, जितनी भी डोमेन्स इस वक्त मेरे ख्याल में लाइक अगर हम थोड़ा सा बात करें, सिर्फ 1 मिनट के लिए मैं टॉपिक से हटूँगा फिर वापस आते हैं, कि इनफैक्ट अबू बकर साहब बैठे हुए हैं, आमिर साहब बैठे हुए हैं, दोनों एसोसिएटेड हैं आईटी से। दे नो के हाईली जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं वो एआई ड्रिवन सॉल्यूशंस को की जा रही हैं। सो वी नीड टू थिंक अबाउट इट कि लाइक इफ़ वी आर प्लानिंग टू बेसिकली create a marketplace or even a OTA, so we need to add some value by integrating the AI into our systems, because जितनी भी मैं क्योंकि मैं भी आईटी से एसोसिएटेड हूँ, तो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ये बात कर रहा हूँ कि अगर फॉर इंस्टेंस इस वक्त हम बात करते हैं कि जितने भी हमारे ट्रैवल सॉल्यूशंस ग्लोबली चल रहे हैं उसमें बहुत कम ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने अभी तक एआई को इंटीग्रेट किया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन इंजन्स। वो अभी तक बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो हैं उनकी जो चल रही हैं वो थ्रू एपीआईज ही चल रही हैं, बाय ह्यूमन एफर्ट ही चल रही हैं। सो वी हैव दैट कैपेबिलिटी, वी हैव दैट टैलेंट टू बेसिकली मेक सम वैल्यू एडिशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ एआई। सो in that context, I think Abu Bakar would explain better with me.
Okay. I think my fellow panelist, esteemed panelist, has already told about lot of about technology transformation. Faraz Saab about the regulatory risk. I think I should encapsulate the whole mechanism. Actually, the tourism and travel sector, which is called as TT, is now dependent as an oxygen, as a lifeblood on the third T, which is technology. So this triple T will not work if triple S will not work. What is triple S? Safety, security, and then services. ये services means infrastructure की बात कर लें, regulatory requirement की बात कर लें, comfort की बात कर लें, and everything. I am supporting this by few stats. For example, Maldives has GDP almost 60% plus of their overall GDP related to TT, which is travel and tourism. Spain 20%, 15% I think Bangkok or like Thailand, and 12% is UAE. Pakistan कितने परसेंट होगा आपको पता है? 2% only. 2% only GDP is dependent on whole travel and tourism. And what is the potential? It is approx 20%. Just because of these challenges of the SSNS, safety, security and services. आप augmented reality लगा दें। अच्छा एक चीज़ और, पाकिस्तान UAE is 50 times greater GDP as a financial system, I think 20 or 30 times greater GDP than Pakistan related to the financial systems. But उनके जो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स हैं या एम्प्लॉयमेंट है या जॉब है वो ऑलमोस्ट 1 मिलियन की है। पाकिस्तान में इस वक्त 5 मिलियन लोगों का रोजगार है। इरफान भाई यहाँ बैठे हुए, इनको सारी डिटेल्स पता है, विच इज रिलेटेड टू द ट्रेवल एंड टूरिज्म। वाई? Because of the lack of third T, which is automation. ना पाकिस्तान में कोई AR है और augmented reality, ना virtual reality, ना tourism का centralized blockchain management system है। क्या पाकिस्तान में आज आप imagine कर सकते हैं कि जो end to end even आई ट्रस्ट कि 5 स्टार होटल में भी क्राउड मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम का कोई सिस्टम नहीं होगा, या फैसिलिटीज मैनेजमेंट का नहीं होगा, या मे बी डिमांड फोरकास्टिंग का नहीं होगा. तो दीज ऑल आर द फैक्टर्स विच इज वेरी नेसेसरी फॉर improving the technology, of course tourism tech and मतलब like, और फिर उसके ऊपर रिलायंस. सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी इज नॉट माई जॉब, बट अगर टेक्नोलॉजी इंप्लीमेंटेशन होगी, इसकी सपोर्ट होगी, इसकी एक्टिविटी होगी मौजूद, एंड देन यू विल गेट द बेनिफिट्स बाय दिस टूरिज्म टेक. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Abdul Qadir. Sir, please.
I have two questions, one to the lady and one to the AI gentleman from PwC. Are you guys, being the payment gateway providers, are you planning to integrate your gateways to the travel technology companies when it comes to the distribution of the inventory of, let's say, hoteliers? I'll give you an example. So hotels has two kind of a softwares. They work on PMS and they work on channel managers. And both softwares requires payment gateways. And I need to understand, as by and large, I'm not just talking with regard to PayFast, I'm talking with regards to general view of the payment gateway providers in Pakistan, regardless which payment gateways are. Is it in the pipeline that not now, maybe in, let's say, 6 months down the lane, the local payment gateway providers will integrate with their foreign PMSs, foreign channel managers? Unfortunately, Pakistan do not have the local PMSs. All the technology are come from outside Pakistan, regardless whether it's a single hotel or a chain of hotels. Can you give me some kind of understanding?
अच्छा सर, देखिए दो चीज़ें हैं दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट हाउ पेमेंट गेटवेज वर्क्स इन पाकिस्तान. ठीक है, पेमेंट गेटवे या फिर पेमेंट रेल्स की स्पेसिफिक गाइडलाइंस और स्पेसिफिक रेगुलेशंस हैं फ्रॉम स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पाकिस्तान, जो ये कहती हैं कि आप जिसको भी अपनी पेमेंट लाइन्स एक्सटेंड करें, दे नीड टू बी अ लाइसेंस रजिस्टर्ड SECP एंटिटी इन पाकिस्तान. सो एनी फॉरेन एंटिटी हु इज़ प्लानिंग to come to Pakistan and do a local business has to have a business registered in Pakistan, right? अच्छा, अब पेमेंट गेटवे का रोल आता कहाँ है? पेमेंट गेटवे का रोल आता है जहाँ पे कस्टमर हमारे पास आए और वो ये बोले कि ये मेरा इंटरफेस है, ये मेरी वेब है, ये मेरी ऐप है, इर्रिस्पेक्टिव कि वो लोकल है, वो इंटरनेशनल है, वो मार्केट प्लेस है, या वो सिंगल बॉडी है, राइट? आप हमारे चैनल के ऊपर पेमेंट की रेल्स हमें प्रोवाइड करना, राइट? सो दिस इज़ वेयर वी कम्स है. अब पाकिस्तान के अंदर पेमेंट गेटवे क्या क्या पॉसिबल ऑप्शंस आपको प्रोवाइड करते हैं, थोड़ा सा मैं आपको पेफास्ट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट से बता देती हूँ. वी प्राइमरली वर्क एज अ स्विच इन पाकिस्तान दैट इज कनेक्टेड विद मल्टीपल इंटरमीडिएटरीज एंड प्रोवाइडिंग ऑल पॉसिबल पेमेंट ऑप्शंस जो इस वक्त पाकिस्तान के अंदर हैं, वो सारे एक वन सिंगल विंडो के ऊपर. अच्छा, अब दो तरीके होते हैं. एक तो तरीका ये है कि आपका कस्टमर आया और उसने आके सर्विसेज हैं वो सिलेक्ट की, एक फाइनल अमाउंट आई और उसने रीडायरेक्ट कर दिया कि जी अब इसकी पेमेंट करनी है, राइट? सो अगेन, नॉट लिमिटेड टू पे फास्ट, पेमेंट गेटवेज जो पाकिस्तान के अंदर हैं, दे हैव द कैपेबिलिटी टू गेट देमसेल्व्स इंटीग्रेटेड विद योर कोर ERPs और विद योर कोर systems where you get the real time information as soon as payment land to your system. It will इंटीमेट योर कोर ERP और योर कोर जो भी आप अपना सॉफ्टवेयर यूज़ करें, वहाँ पे आपको एक रियल टाइम इंटीमेशन मिल जाएगी. फिर हमारे पास सवालात आते हैं कि जी लोग क्यों नहीं इस्तेमाल कर पा रहे हैं, या फिर इसके अंदर क्या चैलेंजेस है. अगेन, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कार्ड बेस्ड ट्रांजैक्शंस 100% स्कीम के रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस के ऊपर की बुनियाद के ऊपर जो है वो काम कर रही होती हैं, एंड दीज रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस आर पब्लिकली अवेलेबल ऑन इंटरनेट. So anyone who is making a card-based transaction needs to understand कि as a consumer and also as a merchant, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि इसके अंदर रिफंड के क्या मैकेनिज्म है, इसके अंदर चार्ज बैक के क्या मैकेनिज्म है. फॉर एग्जांपल कोई चार्ज बैक आ जाता है तो उसके अंदर आर्बिट्रेशन किस तरीके से होती है. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स दे आर स्ट्रक्चर्ड इन प्लेस, अवेलेबल इन पाकिस्तान. We are, if not at par, we are equivalent to how the payment industry or payment gateway industry is working across Pakistan. And if there is anything else apart from this, I'll happily connect with you and give you a brief on it.
Thank you so much. So, ये बहुत ज़रूरी ऑडियंस के लिए समझना कि issue है क्या. As she rightly said, that there is a SCCP law which says that there has to be a local entity. Unless and until local entity is not available, they cannot provide us the service. The bigger question is, that's the problem of the fragmentations. So the hoteliers are using the softwares which has the companies which do not have the local entity. They have their distribution houses, right? So there is a company of one distributor who says, I am a PMS provider. There's another company who says, I am a channel manager provider. And the hotel signs the contract with them. And they don't get the local payment gateway. Why? Because SCCP says that you need to have a local entity in order to have a local integrations. That's our problem. And I want to raise this thing very clearly. Unless and until government doesn't come in and integrate all the stakeholders in one go, right, the whole equation won't come. So whether we have a huge companies available, whether you say Visa is available, MasterCard is available, and so many 20 other payment gateway operators, the structure is not in place. And therefore, we cannot develop the entire ecosystems. When it comes to AI, as PwC gentleman said, I need to understand, you mentioned that the adaptations of the AI or cybersecurity or the data protections, we are using GDPR as a compliance part as far as the foreign gateways or foreign platforms are concerned. Do we have a cyber law approved by the National Assembly which says to all the stakeholders, guys, you are taking the data of the traveler. Where are you protecting those data? Where? So if, for example, PwC or companies like them, they don't want to push the idea to the government that we can only come in if there is a law in place. Now, why would the hotel will invest in the data protection when I'm not bound by that? So if I'm not bound, I don't care whether data is available or is being leaked out or whatever you may call it. That's the problem. And that is the reason why we are sitting with this umbrella called challenges of travel and tourism. Since everything is available in Pakistan, all technology companies are available. All the resources are available. The question is, the broader question is, how do we have to put everyone into an integrations? And that's where the problem comes in. And I need to highlight that point just to make sure that, yes, Pakistan has no problem with that. Every set of segment is available. And nobody can able to integrate unless and until it's not been regulated properly.
Abdul Qadir,
नहीं ये राइट फराज साहब आपके क्वेश्चन के दो फैसेट्स हैं वन इज आइदर दीज कंट्रोल्स आर बीइंग इम्प्लीमेंटेड और इन्फोर्स्ड इन पाकिस्तान तो पहला आंसर तो ये है कि नो बिकॉज दिस सेक्टर इज करेंटली नॉट टू मच regulated, just like State Bank of Pakistan governed financial institutions and SECP and PTA for telecommunication, NEPRA for utilities and all. But second point is, can any travel or tourism business work without this cybersecurity, without these controls, without these efficiency and reliability? No, not at all. They cannot work because अगर सर एक साइबर हमें ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए एंड दैट इज़ वाई PTM टाइप ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म एंड थैंक्स टू हमदानी साहब एंड फान साहब एंड ऑल कि जिन्होंने ये प्लेटफॉर्म दिया है जिसमें ये डिस्कशन हो रही है राइट नाउ डेज वी आर डिस्कसिंग ऑन सेंट्रलाइजिंग ऑल ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म ऑपरेटर्स कंबाइनिंग टूवर्ड्स ब्लॉकचेन सिस्टम अच्छा अब ये ब्लॉकचेन सिस्टम के जरिए इंटीग्रेटेड हो जाएंगे तो इट इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी दैट इट शुड बी इन्फोर्स्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान और रेगुलेटर अगर खुद ही वॉलंटरी तौर पे इसको सेंट्रलाइज कर लिया जाए तो इससे पाकिस्तान की ब्रांड इमेज बेहतर होगी पाकिस्तान की एफिशिएंसी बेहतर होगी और सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम बेहतर होगा अगर हम पूरी लाइफ साइकिल के बारे में बात करें और ऑफ कोर्स इसको मैं अगले सवाल में शायद टेकन अप भी करूं तो पूरी लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ एक जो बंदा आता है ट्रैवल का, वो प्री ट्रैवल से लेकर पोस्ट ट्रैवल तक हर जगह पे एक एक गवर्नेंस एंड साइबर सिक्योरिटी या डिजिटल रिस्क के पोर्टफोलियो में आता है. एंड he or she will not come again in Pakistan अगर उसको कहीं भी पर्सनली उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या उस ट्रैवल ऑपरेटर या उस होटल से बेहतर आउटपुट नहीं मिलता. फॉर एग्जांपल उसके साथ कोई आइडेंटिटी फ्रॉड हो जाता है या फिर कोई डिजिटल फ्रॉड हो जाता है या उसकी कोई फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम लीकेज हो जाता है, देन दे विल नेवर रिलाई ऑन इट. सो कहा जाता है ना ट्रैवलिंग के अंदर, इट टेक्स 20 years to build a reputation and only one cyber security or cyber breach or data breach to ruin that reputation. तो अगर उस मेथडोलॉजी पे भी टीटी जो ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म सेक्टर चलेगा तो भी इसके ऊपर बेहतर काम हो सकता है. देन ऑल द अदर फैक्टर्स इमर्जिंग टैग के एआई लगा लो, ब्लॉकचेन लगा लें, ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी लगा लें एंड ऑल सिस्टम, दीज आर फॉर एफिशिएंसीज. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू अब्दुल कादिर.
तो इसमें मैं एक चीज़ ऐड करूँगी कि डिस्पाइट के कोई लॉ नहीं है, बट व्हाट वी हैव सीन इन द ट्रैवल इंडस्ट्री के जो बहुत बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, दे स्टिल अंडरस्टैंड द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ साइबर सिक्योरिटी. दे आर गेटिंग देमसेल्फ PCI-DSS कंप्लाइंट. उनको पता है कि अगर यूज़र की इन्फॉर्मेशन मेरे पास है तो हाउ क्रिटिकल इट इज़ फॉर देम एज अ बिजनेस कि उनके प्लेटफॉर्म से कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन लीक हो जाए. सो आई थिंक इट्स मोर ऑफ अ सेल्फ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एज समवन हु इज़ रनिंग द बिजनेस इन पाकिस्तान और एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड.
चीज़ और ऐड कर दूँ कि ये बात दुरुस्त है कि आपका ये व्यू है कि नॉर्मली ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री के अंदर ये एप्लीकेशंस नहीं है एआई की, लेकिन रियलिटी ग्राउंड की पाकिस्तान में ये है कि पाकिस्तान में 5 प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं दुनिया के बाहर से आते हैं और उस पर पाकिस्तान का तमाम डेटा अपलोड होता है और पाकिस्तान के कोई भी नॉट अ सिंगल एंटिटी इन द पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट सेज ये पाकिस्तानियों का डेटा कैसे अपलोड हो रहा है और उसके ऊपर मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स का बिजनेस है. आई कैन कोड ऑल द 5 नेम्स, ऑल द फॉरेन प्लेटफॉर्म्स. सारी एयरलाइंस जितनी यहाँ इस पर कैप्टेड है उन्होंने कौन सा PCI कंप्लाइंट का लोगो लगाया हुआ है ऑन देयर वेबसाइट्स. सो द आइडिया है, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, अनलेस एंड अनटिल द गवर्नमेंट डजंट फोर्स देम, why would some entity put their HR cost on the cyber security when I'm not obliged? I can only put the budget of putting all the tools of cyber security or the data protections unless and until I'm bound by them. None of the private sector will invest a single dime unless you're not obliged for that. Look at any airlines in Pakistan. Look at any hotels, any portal. दुनिया में PCI compliant. I agree totally with the lady that when you integrate the payment gateway, you're obliged to provide the PCI compliant. I totally agree with that. But the key is PCI compliant is a very small tool which readily available to all the technology companies. Very easy. But GDPR or data protection, it's not a tool. You need a lot of investment on it and you need to monetize those investments. If I can't monetize it, I'm not going to put the money into it. So I agree. Look at the financial institutions in Pakistan. Every day we hear there is a breach of data, right? The question is, what happens with that breach of data? Are you paying them off to the end customer? You took my data, went into a black web or whatever the web called, and then what happens? So it's easy said, done, but the reality in Pakistan's tourism side is lot many things need to be done. I think so the best part of the PTM is that there is an awareness on the whole equation. This is very important. We need to agree first that yes, there is a tangible view that in order to move forward from A to B, we need to take some small steps. To be honestly, if I ask me as an entrepreneur, I am not looking forward to see drastic changes in the long run. I need to ask my partners to take baby steps and we will take accordingly the whole equation in play.
So really,
within a few days.
really appreciate, sir,
Sorry.
about this suggestion that we should take the baby steps to get the bigger, achieve the bigger goals. So let's move forward towards a couple of more questions. Sajjad sir, sir, you have around a decade of experience in travel and tourism. बहुत सारे जो अभी बिजनेसेस हैं ट्रैवल से जो एसोसिएटेड हैं वो स्टिल ऑफलाइन काम कर रहे हैं. आप क्या समझते हैं कि कितना मुश्किल है उनको, या वो क्या चैलेंजेस हो सकते हैं उनको डिजिटाइज करने के लिए?
Thank you. देखिए, tourism is not some one kind of a product that one has to sell. It's basically there are a number of product lines which, when joined together, then your trip is made, or you're able to travel somewhere, or you're able to have some experience. Now, problem क्या है? Number one, as I mentioned earlier, that there is no, it's not that there is absence of technology. You know, if a rickshaw driver can have, the payments through Easy Paisa and things like that, and even a fruit wala somewhere in Peshawar or something has got a complete inventory of its own on his business account, where all kind of fruits but he has available. So people have that kind of an appetite for that, to go towards that. What is the problem? As I mentioned about the trust factor, number one. And in addition to the trust factor, the cultural change is another aspect which has to come. Now, the cultural change has to come at both the levels. It's not at the level of that there is some platform and like you have established a beautiful platform, but it could not make very good successes because of the obvious problem on the ground, and which are the real problems. What are the problems? As mentioned by colleagues also, it's basically the connectivity infrastructure. We have different silos, but there is no ocean. The whole ecosystem of the tourism has to be concentrated into one. Now, how it has to be concentrated into one? First, it has to be regulated into some pattern. The inventories have to be verified. They have to be mapped. They have to be standardized. The services have to be standardized. What if I pay something for some service and I do not get this service? I would prefer to call somebody and talk to a friend of mine or somebody, a connection of mine, and that is our social impulse also. But mind it, this is not only the social impulse which is creating the problem, that we people always like to talk to the person and trust with a person to do the business. A neighboring country, India, one example, Plan My Trip is one example. You know very well about it. Now, how India and we have almost same kind of a culture, almost same kind of demographic values, as well as the education level and all that. How India could make that kind of a success? Okay, it's not only the private sector or a platform. That platform was enabled by the government. It was a support at the government level which enabled that platform to become that success. Now 60% plus travelers of India are using that platform. It's a huge number, more than 1 billion of population, and such a big number is relying onto that platform. So basically what I'm talking about is, as Faraz Saab also mentioned about, that there has to be some regulatory framework where your things are standardized and then they are brought into some ecosystem. I had basically reserved something for the future, which you will ask at the end.
Yes.
That what should be your one. So I'm reserving that kind of a thing. But basically what I'm saying like that, now coming on to the operational side. Now the operational side is also not automated. Yes, we do want to GDS and all that, we book the tickets and things like this, but our internal structure is not automated. You mentioned about the AI. AI could do a lot of work. AI does not have to replace a human being, it can add value to your services. It can add that kind of efficiency to your services. like the voice model you were mentioning about. If it is the AI-based voice model, so 40 to 50% of the calls which go unattended, that will bring business to the people. And once
Exactly.
it brings business to the people, certainly they will be encouraged. That's kind of a thing that it is the complete ecosystem which has to be integrated. And that's how we will be able to achieve something. And the government, as well as the tech platforms, as well as the businesses itself, they also have to come onto the common grounds where they can take facility of this ecosystem. Like, see, the government should be having some central repository, which is my one recommendation, which I'll be sharing with you at the end. And I think I keep it to that, and then I can dilate it further on this.
Sure. So there must be policy reforms in nutshell for the tourism industry. Correct?
Yeah, that's a policy reform is another kind of a thing. But since we are talking about technology only, so we basically have to see that how technology has to be. I think we should be discussing at the end so that we can be in one grade to have the futuristic course. Thank you.
Sure. Amr sir, from PSAP's perspective, actually Pakistan has been positioning itself global tech destination. So where does travel technology fit in?
Well, it's very important to reduce the friction of our clients coming into the country. तो ये है कि हम लोग we encourage tech entrepreneurs and investors into the country. And if there's friction, for instance, at the airport, you have to enter in your CNIC number when you're connecting to the Wi-Fi. These little friction points, they don't position us as technology leaders in the world. And what we're trying to do is really place ourselves as a leading destination in the world. And technology, we have excellent technologists like Sasta Ticket. I've been using their app.
Yeah.
Amazing customer experience. You can use, these are world-leading experiences, and I think we just need more of these tech companies to be able to give to the clients the experience that we know that Pakistan can give. We're a very handmade, hospitable people. It just needs to translate into the technology sector as well.
Great. Sounds good. Mavish, one more question. लोग ऑनलाइन बुकिंग्स पे आते हैं और स्टॉप हो जाते हैं पेमेंट्स पे आके काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें ऑलरेडी यू हैव कवर्ड इन योर प्रीवियस डिस्कशन बट आई वुड लाइक यू टू प्लीज पुट सम मोर लाइट इन नेक्स्ट 2 minutes प्लीज
थैंक यू राइटली सेड 2-3 फैक्टर्स हैं इसके एक तो लैक ऑन द ट्रस्ट ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म और मे बी जिसका वो प्लेटफॉर्म है उसके ऊपर दोनों अभी अभी आपने एक एग्जांपल दी सस्ता टिकट की सो वी डू हैव एग्जांपल्स इन पाकिस्तान वी हैव डायरेक्ट एयरलाइंस जहाँ पे फॉर एग्जांपल आप जाएं और जाके फ्लाई जना के पेज पे से डायरेक्टली अपना टिकट बुक करवा सकते हैं सरीन के पेज पे से करवा सकते हैं एयर ब्लू के पेज पे से करवा सकते हैं PIA आई रिमेंबर लास्ट टाइम आई वाज वर्किंग विद देम तो वहाँ से करवा सकते हैं सस्ता टिकट से करवा सकते हैं again whoever understand that how important and what's the importance of digital transaction or what is the importance of having upfront payment rather than going into the credit or फिर वो last moment वाली payments they invest on the infrastructure they invest on the platform they invest on the security फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको अगर पेमेंट इंडस्ट्री की बात बताऊं तो पेमेंट इंडस्ट्री के अंदर 2-3 तरीके के मॉडल्स चल रहे होते हैं एम्बेडेड चल रहा होता है रीडायरेक्शन के ऊपर चल रहा होता है डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट द सिक्योरिटी प्रोटोकॉल्स वन हैज़ एट देयर ओन एंड राइट अच्छा अब जब हम बात करते हैं इनफैक्ट अगर आप मेरी अपनी भी बात करें डिस्पाइट बीइंग इन पेमेंट स्पेस सिंस लास्ट सो मेनी ईयर्स किसी रैंडम प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर जाके मैं भी अपने ऑनलाइन या मैं अपने कार्ड की डिटेल्स अपनी CVV की डिटेल्स डालने से पहले ना 200 दफ़ा सोचूंगी कि यार जो मैं पेमेंट बुक करवा रही हूँ वो लेजिट जगह पे जा रही है नहीं जा रही है एम आई गोइंग टू गेट द सर्विस एम आई गोइंग टू गेट द टाइप जितने टाइम के अंदर मुझे सर्विस मिलनी चाहिए वो मिल रही है या नहीं मिल रही ये तो हमारे पास प्लेटफॉर्म एंड के ऊपर हो गया फिर देन हमारे पास बिजनेस एंड के अंदर व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट डिजिटल पेमेंट्स, प्राइमरली दे आर B2C पेमेंट्स. B2C पेमेंट्स के अंदर आज मैं टॉप टियर जो होटल्स हैं उनके पास तो शायद जाके फिर भी ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर दूं, मतलब आप पीसी में कर देंगे, या जो टॉप आपके 4-5 जो होटल्स हैं आप उनमें तो कर देंगे. उससे जो नीचे के होटल्स आते हैं आप वहाँ पे 200 दफ़ा सोचते हैं कि यार मैं जाऊँगी, अच्छा आज मैं इस्लामाबाद के एक एक्स होटल में गई हूँ, नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं जाऊँगी आई मे नॉट फाइंड द सेम लेवल ऑफ सर्विसेज, तो फिर मैं वो 10 जगह जाके उसको सर्च करूँगी, और मे बी आई प्रेफर सीइंग द रूम फर्स्ट इफ इट्स एन अननोन होटल, or maybe I prefer seeing the facilities that are available. So again, when we talk about having a marketplace जहाँ पर लोगों का ट्रस्ट हो, जैसे आपने एक प्लेटफॉर्म की अभी बात करी, इसी तरीके से मल्टीपल प्लेटफॉर्म है पाकिस्तान के अंदर, वेयर नाउ ग्रेजुअली पीपल अंडरस्टैंड कि वहाँ से हमें सर्विसेज किस तरीके की मिल रही हैं, कितनी लेजिट हैं. मैं कुछ प्लेटफॉर्म्स के साथ लास्ट 6-7 ईयर्स के साथ से जो है ना एसोसिएटेड हूँ, तो आई हैव सीन देम फ्रॉम द पॉइंट वेयर दे वर इन देयर बीटा, जब वो अपने बीटा पे थे, पायलट के ऊपर थे, और उनकी मंथ ऑन मंथ, ईयर ऑन ईयर ट्रांजैक्शंस किस तरीके से बढ़ी हैं. सो येस, ऑनलाइन के ऊपर कन्वर्जन के अंदर टाइम लगता है, बट ऑनलाइन के अंदर अगर आपका कोई कस्टमर कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, सो it is going to be a repeat customer. It's an effort, but repeat customer. Whoever is used to of paying online, then they will come, they will do that again and again. मैं आपको एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल दूंगी, then I'll close it. आज की तारीख में यहाँ पर बैठे हुए आधे लोगों के पास शायद लिंक्डइन का प्रीमियम प्लान होगा, जिसके ऊपर हर महीने एक रेकरिंग पेमेंट खुद आपके कार्ड से डिडक्ट हो जाती है. 80%, मतलब मेरे ख्याल से वो तो प्लान ही इसी तरीके से काम करता है कि ऑटो डिडक्शन होती है. So why 80% of the consumers who are using LinkedIn Premium are ticking on that check because they understand कि उनकी कार्ड की डिटेल्स सेफ हैं, this is going to be a safe transaction, you are going to get the service that's being promised, and then वहाँ पर तो ये जो ट्रस्ट फैक्टर है, this is very important. I think all the brands collectively should now start working on this image. जिन लोगों ने इस्तेमाल करना है वो कर ही रहे होते हैं, but they pick and choose where to do it and where not to do it. And I think it's a wise thing to do.
We should make a trust factor and maintain a quality of service. Correct? Okay. Now, another open question from all our esteemed participants. Faraz sir, if you had a chance to implement one change in next 6 months, what would it be, sir?
Very difficult to say one, to be honestly speaking. Pakistan's tourism requires total reshape, to be honestly speaking. We are not have started the zero, as far as I'm concerned. The whole distribution net setup is different. Whole supply side is different. The sales acquisition is different. It's very hard. I mean, you ask me 2-3. Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, we are running out of time. That's why I'm asking about only one.
Yeah, I think so. The key is the distribution. If you ask me personally, whether it's hotel or airline or whatever, distribution is the key. We need to distribute our products globally, locally, in order to make tourism successful in the long run.
Great,
If there's no distribution, we can't do it.
Abdul Qadir.
One key takeaway अगर मैं बोलूँ with the combination of all the input from participants, किसी भी TT किसी भी सेक्टर के लिए अगर और स्पेशली फॉर टूरिज्म एंड ट्रैवल के लिए 4 critical factors हैं which is very necessary. Number 1, which I have already mentioned and my fellow panelists, security. Number 2, and security, not only physical security, it is logical security, access security, data security. Number 2 is privacy. Privacy is the biggest hamper. दुनिया में बड़े बड़े होटल मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम का स्टॉक 50% वैल्यू पे चला गया था मैरियट का, जब 5 मिलियन डेटा ब्रीच रिकॉर्ड्स इनके डेटा ब्रीचेस हुए थे. नंबर 3 इज फेयरनेस एंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी, एंड नंबर 4 इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिलायबिलिटी एंड एफिशिएंसी.
Sajjad sir.
Well, there could only be a magic that one thing can correct the whole thing, everything. But certainly we have to start from somewhere. see, while I talked about that kind of a culture where your systems get automated, on the operational side, you have to get automated so that you concentrate more onto the service. The technology coming onto that level does not have to replace the human or your personal services. It has to augment it. Remember, technology cannot basically like erect the new infrastructures or fix the old infrastructure. And if you base technology onto the old infrastructure or something which is not fixed properly, so it will lead to a high definition chaos. So, to prevent that kind of a chaos and to make it in a formidable and a seamless kind of an activity which has got the futuristic value, we ought to have some central authority in the country. You call it the tourism authority or whatever. You call it a central repository authority, where your complete verticals of the tourism sector have to be verified, standardized, and they are available in one format. Now, this is not something I'm telling that it is something new. We have to do it, and nobody is doing. Amazing things have happened like that in the world. Like only in Vietnam, in 3 years, they had the more than 60 to 70% of the increase into their tourism. You take the example of Dubai itself. Dubai has got a very sustained system into like that. So Dubai tourism always increasing every year. The quantum is increasing. Okay, we may not talk about Dubai because Dubai has got a very, very excellent infrastructure and all that. Talk about Estonia, talk about Vietnam, talk about Indonesia. Of course, Indonesia also has a very good infrastructure. So why Travolta becomes so successful? Then in a 4 years' time, it contributed $4.5 billion to the tourism economy. $4.5 billion is not a joke for a country like
It's a huge, because
third world
it's a
country.
third world country
Third
actually.
world country. So we ought to have some kind of an arrangement at the central level who sets as standards, who set the standards. Okay, you see like that. Why I'm substantiating this? Tourism, anybody having a mobile phone is a tourist operator. Now, this is technology, but this is not that technology. This is not a regulated technology. Anybody sitting in the northern areas having no qualification, nothing, he'll become a tour guide. He'll become your facilitator just because somebody brought him into this field. So you are basically not getting the service. So beside not enhancing the tourism by itself, you are basically compromising the quality of services also. And substantially, if you subsequently, if you do not improve the quality and it goes into the downturn, the tourism will never flourish. It will doom. So this is what
It's very logical.
sent from my side. Thank you.
Amir sir.
For us to grow the software industry, we would love to see the digital nomad visa come here. What we think is, Dubai has tax as their advantage. Portugal has the access to Europe. Bali has the lifestyle. But Pakistan has the access to talent. The average age of Pakistani is 21 years old, of an Indian is 30, of an American is 39, of Japanese is 50. We've got the talent here. तो यहाँ पर लोग आएंगे, that they will hire locally, they will grow jobs, and we can even lead them if they grow to 100 jobs to give them nationality and things like this.
I agreed, but I agree कि अगर वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होगा तो ज़रूर आएंगे लोग, बिकॉज कि जहाँ आई नो दैट यू हैव बीन ऑन अ डिजिटल nomad visa in many countries. I have been too. So the reason is कि किसी भी country में जब हम relocate होते हैं as a nomad, so there are several reasons for that. So we are just concluding our debate today. So inshallah, next time we'll discuss about it. Please.
So I think next 6 months would be a way too, बहुत कम time है, but I think okay, this is high time that we need to understand that how important is fintech and technology and who you are going to deal in, upcoming years. The kind of generation that's going to be your target customer do not believe in legacy infrastructure, do not believe in the legacy kind of workflows that we have and we have been following. हमारे जो बच्चे हैं, जो अभी जो जेनजीज आ रही हैं, और अब बल्कि अब तो वो जनरेशन भी चेंज हो गई है, they believe in doing things quick. They believe in having the comparison available over the internet. कहीं जाने से पहले उनको अलिफ से लेकर ये तक सारी उस जगह की चीज़ें पता होती हैं. मतलब अगर आज मैं अपने बच्चों में से किसी से बात करूं तो वो मुझसे पहले जो है ना वो इंटरनेट पे से चीज़ें निकाल के ले आते हैं, सो दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ टारगेट ऑडियंस दैट यू आर गोइंग टू केटर इन नेक्स्ट 5-10 years. And I think it's high time we all need to get ourselves ready and understand that technology and investment on technology is not only the expenditure. It is similar to how you built or how you allocate an expense for the office and the renters and the electricity. It is as important and as necessary as having those basic essentials available.
Thank you. And now we are wrapping our session today. So from audience, if someone wants to question.
My name is Yasin. I'm a marketing consultant. My question is, Pakistan is putting up a brave face, but we are going through big problems like the civil war that has been induced on us, and the economic crisis and the political chaos. My question is Pakistan a lost cause? Do we have a future in travel, and does the country have a future? Because I remember less than 2 decades ago, the dollar was 70 rupees. Now it's 1/4 its value. The Pak rupee is 1/4 its value. So my question is a macro level question that every Pakistani is concerned about. Does travel industry or Pakistan in general, do we have a future, or is it a lost cause? Thank you. Anyone can answer that.
एक जवाब तो मैं जरूर
Okay,
देना चाहूँगा कि
I can
because
give
of
a
the
small
technology
answer.
sector.
Small answer, then Prasan can add in. Basically, if you see the history and all that, since about 70s, we have always been at war. And one after another, there has been certain situation and all that. That speaks one kind of a resilience of this nation. Certainly, there has been a drop into the international, or you can call the inbound tourism. There has been a drop. But it has even not altogether finished. The environment in the region are also creating such kind of environment, as you know, that few of the exhibitors were very prominent and big promising exhibitors. They, at the last minute, they declined to join in this travel mart also. So these challenges will remain. So we should not be hopeless about it. There is always a silver lining, and there are always hope. And a country and a resilient people like Pakistan, we will certainly surface. We have basically basic problems. We have infrastructural and the cultural problems. Those have to be resolved. We have to get into some regulation, some standardization. Those are the basic things. See, just give you an example of China itself. China does not encourage any people come for the traveling. No, they never try to promote Truly Asia or things like that, or different kind of brands and all that. They have got that much scrutiny. The visa process is also not very friendly. But you go China and you see all places are thronged. All places are thronged. If you are just 1 hour late in the morning, you will not be able to see the Tiananmen city, and you will be seeing only the Forbidden City, Tiananmen Square. You will miss that, just because there are so many people of the domestic tourism. We do have a lot of domestic tourism. These 25, 30, 300 million people, they won't vanish. They will create tourism. And certainly with the time, the inbound tourism will also improve, inshallah.
And
Thank
one more thing which is luckily and inherently beneficial for Pakistan, जो हुआ है अभी इस सारे जियोपॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन में, कि 10 folds improve हुआ है पोर्ट पे जो ट्रांजिट और कार्गो मैकेनिज्म, 10 fold इंक्रीज हुआ है आपके एयरलाइन का मैकेनिज्म, बिकॉज एवरीवन इज नाउ ट्रेवलिंग टूवर्ड्स कराची एंड देन गोइंग टूवर्ड्स यूरोप एंड एनी अदर कंट्री. तो जब आप एक पोर्टफोलियो टूरिज्म सेक्टर, ट्रैवल सेक्टर को बेनिफिट देंगे, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड करेंगे, टेक्नोलॉजी इंप्रूवमेंट लेंगे, तो वो शायद पाकिस्तान में आके यहाँ रुक के जाएगा कि यार इससे बेहतरीन कोई लोकेशन नहीं होगी उसके लिए. So this is always a great opportunity for Pakistan.
To answer your war-related questions, give you some similarities. Vietnam had 19 years of war. Vietnam is now fifth largest tourism economy in the Southeast Asia, the Far East, Asia Pacific. Turkey, in the last 10 years, has devalued more than 1,000. They lost the lira. They revalue the entire lira. Turkey is the fifth largest tourism market in the world, right? So, yeah, for the short run, yeah, of course, we can discuss maybe 1 year, 2 years down the lane. But eventually, the new outside the box ideas will come in play. The new infrastructure will come in play. There will be a new policy structures. There will be a new learnings altogether. Right? Things will change, maybe in a different perspective. We have seen COVID, for example, is a great idea. Now, when the COVID was there for 2 years, we didn't know that there will be a spike in the business, the tourism business, for the first 2 years. It went into the roof, actually. The entire prices went up, the business booms a lot, right? Because people were having a cash in their hand during the COVID period. And they utilized those cash, their savings, after the COVID. And most of the savings went in the tourism side, globally speaking, even in Pakistan. I mean, if you look at the pricing of airline tickets or, for example, hotelier tickets before the COVID, right now the pricing of room nights in the hotel industry is either before COVID or maybe higher than that in the rupee value. Maybe the dollar value is down, but the rupee value is higher. So I don't see, to be honestly speaking, yes, in the short run, we are foreseeing some kind of a chaos, some fuel shortages, blah, blah, blah. But in the long run, there will be structural changes. And we should be hopeful. This is a 300 million population. It's too much. It's sixth and the largest in the world. I'm not saying that we have done some wonders. What I'm saying is there is a potential for sure.
Thank you very much for all our panelists and the wonderful audience. And in conclusion of our today's discussion, I'm of the view that there is a lot potential in tourism industry in Pakistan, but we need to basically align the policy, innovation, technology, and on-ground execution. So let's hope for the best, and inshallah ta'ala, this conversation is not, the final conversation. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll meet soon again. Thank you very much.